Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mohal Banker, intervention radiologist from Ahmedabad, and under this initiative of medronics, this MedSEAL program, I'm going to discuss the two modality for treatment of varicose vein. That first one is a radio frequency ablation, and second one is a varicose vein glue embolization. And these are the routine instructions from the company side for the participants. And in this talk, I am going to discuss these four main points: understanding the chronic venous insufficiency, treatment modalities which is available right now to treat this varicose vein, and from all these modalities, two modalities I am going to discuss: close-up fast procedure, that is a radio frequency ablation, and VenaSeal procedure, that is a varicose vein glue embolization. So first, let's understand the chronic venous disease. Edinburgh study shows more than 50 to 60% of population is affected by minor to major kind of venous problem, and these all venous problem are classified into the 6 parts. C1, that is a spider veins or reticular veins. C2 is a asymptomatic varicose vein, and C3 onwards all the symptoms of varicose vein starts, that is edema, venous eczema, lipodermatosclerosis, and the highest one, that is a C6, that is active venous ulceration. So from this 60% of population which is affected from this chronic venous disease, from the 1/3 of the population develop major complications. So into the leg, there are two kind of ulcers, basically two etiological ulcers. One is arterial ulcer and venous ulcer. What venous ulcer are more common, approximately 70 to 90% of lower extremity ulcers are of venous origin. And apart of all these, if you do the examination for arterial pulsation and coldness of the limb, these are really helpful, but by examining the location of the ulcer itself, you can find it out that there is a venous origin or arterial origin. Most of the venous ulcers are situated near the malleolus. If the reflux is from the great saphenous vein, then the ulcer is situated near the medial malleolus. And if the reflux is from the short saphenous vein, then the ulcer is situated near the lateral malleolus. So it's very easy to differentiate from the venous ulcer to the arterial ulcer. Now, if we take the patient assessment and diagnosis, there are many important points for assessment of the patients, like look for obesity, ask for any family history for varicose veins, and these all things are very, very important. And for symptoms, most important thing is to define the pattern of pain. What happened during into the varicose veins? Into the morning, patient has no pain. Morning is always pleasant, pain-free. As the day advances, patient starts to do his or her own work. He starts standing, and gradually the pain starts. And most of the time, origin of pain is a calf region, and pain has a peak into the evening or after the prolonged standing. So these are typical of varicose vein pain pattern. Now, if you after the assessing the patients by clinically and asking the history, second important point is evaluate it by the duplex scanning. Duplex scanning is very important part for treatment of varicose vein patient, because I always insist that try to do duplex scanning by yourself, because what happened many times sonologists report that this patient does not have any varicose vein, normal venous duplex scanning, but clinically patient has gross varicose vein. I am going to show you one case into the next slide. But there is a complexity of the venous network, and if you do the duplex scanning by yourself and already you have examined the patient clinically, then you can correlate and proper plan for the treatment. So in this case, this subphemoral junction is normal, proximal GSV is not dilated, and if we scan distally at mid thigh portion, one large perforator joined to the GSV over here, and after this joining, the GSV become dilated because this perforator shows reflux into it, and later on, after the mid GSV, this GSV shows reflux and it gives varicosity into the distal thigh region. But surprisingly, this patient's report given by sonologist is normal because he has only evaluated the junction. So junction is there was no reflux into junction, so he has given the report normal. But patient has the varicose vein, reflux, and if you see clinically picture of patient has already ulcer near the medial malleolus, already change of venous eczema, on examination visible varicose vein seen. So this is a classical patient of C6 varicose vein, but it was reported normal by sonologist. So I always insist that try to duplex scanning by yourself, and if you correlate clinical picture with all these complexity of venous network, then you can plan better treatment. And if you have further interest on all this educational video, this is my website and you can go over there. There are lots of education material I have uploaded, and you can enjoy all this educational material. So now the treatment modalities. Previously, surgical ligation and stripping is a most available method for treatment of varicose vein. But what happened into the ligation and stripping, we remove the intima and adventitia both. But as the science advances, researchers has found it out that no need to remove entire vein. If you destroy only intima, then also these venous lumen will be fibrous and sealed off. So later on, all the research is going for the destroying of the intima of the varicose vein. Now there are three main modalities for destroying this venous intima. First one is endovenous thermal ablation. In this endovenous thermal ablation, there are two systems. One is a laser ablation and second one is a radio frequency ablation. I am going to discuss the radio frequency ablation in this talk. There is a close-up fast system by medronics. Second one is a chemical ablation. So by injecting some chemicals, chemical irritant, intima of this varicose vein is destroyed. And foam sclerotherapy, this MOCA, these are the treatment for chemical ablation. And third one, which is recently available for into the Indian market, that is a varicose vein glue embolization. And for that, medtronics has come up with the MedSEAL system. So there is a close-up fast device planned by these medtronics, and these are how system look like. Basically, the close-up fast catheter has a 7 centimeter long heating element, and it produces heat. Temperature goes up to 120 degrees Celsius at the tip of this close-up fast catheter, and if it is beyond 60 degree temperature, the collagen fiber network of the intima of the varicose vein is destroyed, and it shrinks and it obliterates the lumen, and gradually all these intima of this varicose vein will be fibrous, and it seals the lumen of the varicose vein. So this is a system, and as I have shown you, these are 7 centimeter long heating element in the top of the fiber, and it has a catheter handle which has an on and off switch, and there are white color markers on the shaft of this catheter. This is very important. I am going to show you how it is useful while we are treating the varicose vein patient. And these are the introducer sheet. So how it works, this is very important to understand. On the screen of this close-up fast generator, there are three indicators. On the top, there is a 20-second cycle, so there is a timer of 20 seconds. On left hand side, it shows temperature at the tip of the catheter. Highest it goes up to 120 degrees Celsius, and at this temperature, intima start destroying. So to maintain this 120 degree Celsius temperature, how much power is required? It is shown on the right side. So maximum power is generated by this close-up fast the system is 40 watts. But once the power requirement goes below 15 watt, that means that segment, this thermal ablation is achieved satisfactorily. And while you are doing this thermal ablation, and on that segment, if power requirement is not gone below 15 watt, then repeat the procedure until this power requirement goes below 15 watts. So this is very pretty simple and easiest device, and there is a small procedure video by ultrasonography guidance puncture the great saphenous vein, and through this puncture needle pass this guide wire. Once you pass the guide wire, put a sheath on this guide wire, and from this sheath this close-up fast catheter is placed into the GSV. And this very important step, that place this catheter 2 centimeter proximal to SF junction. See over here, I'm withdrawing this catheter, and the tip of the catheter is I placed 2 centimeter proximal to junction. Here is a junction, and here is a tip. So this is very important step that we should avoid this thermal energy to go into the deep venous system. Now second important step is the tumescent anesthesia, and this is how under the USG guidance into the perivenous plane tumescent is injected. It serves three purposes. First, it collapses this varicose vein lumen, so the intima of this varicose vein lumen will directly come into contact of the electrode, so energy requirement is reduced. Second one, it gives a local anesthetic effect. And third one, this tumescent create the perivenous fluid bath, and this is very important thing. So because of this perivenous fluid bath, what happened? The perivenous thermal injury is significantly reduced. Now once you do all the tumescent anesthesia, start this ablation, and once you ablate the segment, withdraw it for the next marker. See, this is very important thing. Here is the marker, and I withdraw it up to the second marker. So this marker is very important for placement of the catheter and the withdrawal of the catheter. And by and large, I have shown you that how will you define that this segment is enough ablated or not. That is by requirement of the energy. Once it goes below 15 watt energy requirement at that segment, then results are satisfactory. And if you don't achieve the 15 watt, then repeat the procedure at the same segment. And by doing this, ablate entire the length of the GSV, gradually withdraw the catheter, and so this is a pretty easy modality to operate. And there is a basic difference over here. See, on the screen here on the right side there is a wattage, up there is a timing, and left side there is a temperature requirement. So there is a basic difference over here between the laser and the radio frequency ablation. What happened that into the laser, intraluminal temperature goes up to 120 degree 600 degree Celsius. So what happened that perivenous thermal injury is more, so more post-operative pain, and if the GSV lies very superficially, then the chances of skin burns and the skin discoloration are more with the laser ablation, while in radio frequency ablation temperature goes maximum to 120 degrees Celsius. So there is no post-operative pain, there is no chance of skin burns. So RF ablation is definitely superior than the laser ablation for post-operative and all this, if we consider all these points then. And many research and many studies have done for the closure fast catheter. All the study shows more than 95% successful rate. And believe me, I have done my first case in 2007 with the laser ablation. And when this radio frequency ablation introduced into the India, I have done the first case in 2010. And since then, I am using this radio frequency ablation. If we use these radio frequency ablation with the scientific technique, results are far superior than any other modalities. So these all are the studies comparing between the radio frequency ablation, laser, vein stripping, and the foam sclerotherapy. I have already discussed that RF is superior than any other modalities. The foam sclerotherapy is useful for the small leakage, that is for the perforators, but for the gross incompetent junction, if you use the foam sclerotherapy, the recurrence rate is very high. So now the second modality is the VenaSeal procedure, that is a varicose vein glue embolization. Glue is used for medical purpose since a long time into the for the different treatment. But for using the glue for the varicose vein, it requires certain characteristic. First, it should polymerize quickly to prevent non-targeted embolization. For if we inject it into the superficial vein, then it should not go into the deep vein to prevent further complication. So for this, it should be polymerized very quickly. Second thing, the cast which is formed by this glue, it should be soft. What happens sometimes, the varicose vein is very superficial, and the cast formed by glue is very hard. Then it is palpated for a long time to the patient, and patient may feel irritated. So the cast should be soft, and so all this characteristic is fulfilled by VenaSeal, which is VenaSeal. This glue is produced by the medronics. Along with this all, it eliminates the requirement of tumescent anesthesia. It eliminates the requirement of post-operative compression stocking, which is highly recommended with any thermal ablation or chemical ablation. And it also eliminates the thermal nerve injury, which is very common with the endovenous thermal ablation, particularly while we are treating a short saphenous vein segment, because the sural nerve course is very different in all the patients. So many times the sural nerve injury is common while we are treating with the short saphenous vein, and this can be eliminated by using the VenaSeal glue. For indication, any patient beyond C3 is good for treating with this VenaSeal glue embolization, and this is how this VenaSeal closure system. I am going to show you everything one by one into this procedure. This is how this glue vial look like. This is a dispenser gun with a trigger, and this is an introducer and dilator, and this is a delivery catheter. So this is a syringe and needle. These were so first step is very same. Puncture the GSV, place this catheter, and this blue introducer should be placed. Its tip of this blue introducer should be placed 5 cm proximal to SF junction. In thermal ablation, we take 2 cm, but here we should keep it 5 cm proximal to SF junction. So once we place this blue introducer 5 cm proximal, take the glue into this syringe. Don't flush this syringe or needle with any saline, because if this glue come in contact with any saline, it will polymerize and it will be wasted. So once you take this glue into the syringe, connect it with the delivering catheter, and once you connect it, then take a gun, pull a plunger back, and now load the syringe into the gun. Once you lock the syringe, then do the priming. That means remove the air from this delivering catheter by gradually pushing the glue at the tip of the catheter. So once you do the priming up to the tip of the catheter, then put this delivering catheter into the main glue catheter. So these are the small but important steps. And again here, withdraw the delivering catheter, and because now withdraw this blue catheter, and because now we are placing this delivering catheter, so tip of this delivering catheter going beyond the tip of this blue catheter, and we should keep a distance of 5 centimeter from the SF junction. So once you check the system, now you compress the SF junction under the ultrasonography guidance. So this is very important step, because this procedure is always under the guidance of ultrasonography. Once you compress it, now inject the glue for 3 seconds and withdraw for 1 centimeter. Again inject for 3 seconds. Every 3-second injection gives a 0.1 cc dose of glue into this venous system, and now compress this segment for 3 minutes. So what happened? The proximal segment of great sufferance vein near the junction is compressed, so it will be closed. So now any glue delivered distal to that segment, there is no chances that it will go into the deeper venous system. So the first step is very important, and once we do it, then later on the technique is very simple. Inject for 3 seconds and withdraw the catheter for 3 centimeter, and when you have injected, that segment is compressed for at least 30 seconds. So repeat it for entire this dilated varicose vein, and gradually withdraw it, inject the glue, and that's how you complete the varicose vein glue embolization. And the beauty is this is done with the very small puncture. There is no cut, no suture, and when you withdraw this catheter, there is very small this puncture area is seen, and once you clean this puncture area and apply this small tab, then that's it, this procedure is over. So this is very pretty simple procedure, and patient can resume his or her on duty from the same day, same time he can walk, because we are not given any kind of anesthesia, any other medicine. So this is very advanced technique, and many research has many studies done for this VenaSeal glue embolization, and all these studies shows more than 90% successful rate. VenaSeal is really very advanced technique. It is superior than any other modalities. Only issue is some cost. It is pretty costly. Otherwise, it's really very good technique. So thank you so much. If you have any query after hearing this talk, do contact me, and if for many other educational material,